Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. What works for another man in getting women may not work for you. Now this is very important, and this is almost in a way a follow-up to what I was talking about on the couch yesterday about not trying to make a particular woman like you. But let's take it a step further, make this all about you. All about you. Now, what you might see another man getting women, and you get a lot of guys who will see that and say, well, that's a Chad or that's a Tyrone or something, and they're getting women because of that. Okay, maybe. But even if you are that person's height, that man's height, even if you the same race, same skin complexion, whatever, you still different because you got different personality. You got different things going on for you. Or why that man's getting a woman. It could be something psychological about him. It could be something psychological. It could be the environment he's in, the social class he's in. You net those exact things. Could be the religion. He could be getting it at his church or temple or mosque or whatever. You don't know what his situation is exactly. And even if you did, you still not that person. Look, here's the thing. You can't follow another man because you are not that man. You can't, and then because see, one of the problems is you get some guys, they not that man, and they feel like, oh, all these women want him or that guy. It's like, you don't know. You don't know the situation. Only thing a man can do is be his best version of himself and see who likes him. That's why I talk about tribes and everything. Even with body game, I said everybody can't be lean. Every woman don't like a lean man. Like there's quite a few women like a man got some meat on him. If you got some meat on you, you just got to figure out, okay, how can I make this look the best I can make it look, and then see who likes it. Basically, you got to be yourself. You got to be yourself. Indeed, I've known some men who had charisma like crazy, and they were able to get women. They had charisma like crazy. And indeed, different men got different taste. Even then. A man can't look at even the women another man gets and try to say, well, I wouldn't want her. Okay, you wouldn't want her, but that man wants her. You don't have that man's dick. Why are you worried about where another man's dick goes? No, hey, I'm dead serious on all of this stuff. You are not that man. There's 4 billion women in the world. They all don't want the same thing. They all don't want the same thing. Definitely don't speak the same language, ain't the same religion. Every woman wants something different. You can't look at that woman and say, okay, this is what she wants. All you can say is that man, he's tapped into what he can get. He just might be in the right neighborhood. He could be, like I said, he could be in the right social class. He's just in a position to do so. You do the same thing, it might not work. I've said 1,000 times, remember I've told the story 1,000 times about this guy, and he was a little bit taller than, he was tall, he was about 6'2" or something. But he had a pockmarked face. But he was getting all this attention at this club. They used to be in D.C., Zanzibar, when it was on G Street. Now, when it was on the waterfront, when it was in G Street, for people familiar with that. I don't know if it's still there or not. Don't really care, really. But here's the point. He came in there, all he had on was a black t-shirt and some slacks. And then the next week, he was getting all this attention from women. These 2 other guys tried to do the same exact thing. They were walking around. It was kind of funny because they were walking around and the women were just like, eh. But these 2 guys usually came in suits and stuff. That's what worked for them. They couldn't try to be like this other guy. Yeah, okay, if something works for another man, just say, oh, okay. What is your style? What is your signature? Every single man got to develop his own signature, his own style. He got to figure out what works for him. Even when I talk about body game, what do I say? Your best body. Not that another man's. Not that other man's. You don't know. You know what? I've dealt with some women. They like stocky. They like some meat on them. In fact, I remember when I had like that fitness model body build, right? There were some women who rejected me. But then a few years later, when I put on a little bit of weight, they were all over me. You know? They gonna like different things. You gotta just figure out, okay, this is what I'm comfortable with. These are the type of women I'm getting. This is my tribe. That your tribe ain't somebody else's tribe. Every single man, he just gotta be his best version. Are you being your best version? Even haircuts and stuff. Some haircuts don't work on some men. And some do. Like I saw a clip, it was a minister, he had some, it was, in the comments, they were joning on him because he had a jacked up haircut. They were joning on him. The women were joning on him and stuff. But there might be some woman who likes it. But at the same time, he trying to do something, he might have been better off like maybe shaving off all his hair and stuff and having a totally different style. The women might have been like, oh, okay. You know, even something like that. You know, you get some guys, they be like, well, I gotta have all this hair, and they be doing all this. Some guys, they just shave their shit off because that works for them. You gotta find out what works for you. Just because they work for another man, because you are not that man. You gotta figure out what works for you, what's best for you. You gotta be selfish in that. You gotta have your own style. You gotta have something that says you. You can't be like this other guy. I've had some guys, a couple guys hit me up saying, yeah, you know, I try to talk like you and all of that. I was like, you're not me. You are not me. I'm totally different. The way I talk and interact, you know, that comes from a lifetime. You didn't live this lifetime. You didn't live that other guy's lifetime. Type of women that show some interest in me, you know? I already know what my tribe is. It might not be your tribe, and that's okay. That's okay. You're totally different. See, the thing is, a man's main relationship is with himself. He has to love himself more than anything else. He can't worry about what that other man's doing. Don't be a follower like that. Every single man has to be sovereign in his own. He got to be the master of his own world. This is his style. This is what he's going to do. And I don't care what it is, you know? I remember another story. I've told this before too. This guy, he was worried about going to prison. Now he going to this pool party, you know, he had his shirt buttoned down to his navel, had tight ass pants on, some cowboy boots. And there were a couple women that just been like, but then he hooked up with one woman. And then I remember like later on in that same party, he said, hey, Rom, I got a ride home. She liked what he offered. But that was his style. That was what he was doing, you know? So it might, if somebody else did the same thing, it probably wouldn't have worked. You gotta find what works for you. Only you, all right? So anyway, that's all I have for right now, and I'll get back with y'all. Peace and blessings.